All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Business Saturday. We're coming live to you this Saturday morning from the Reagan's Arcade building here in downtown Dixon. Of course, we're here in the DC TV studio for another episode. This is actually episode number 4. So I've had Shane Rye, my buddy Shane Rye from Photos by Rye Guy. We've had Kenny Long from New Wave Hobbies. Luke Frost was in here last week telling us about Luke's Breakfast and Burgers, and he also previewed a new business that he's got coming along, which is dealing with sports cards and baseball cards, football cards, memorabilia, stuff like that. He's got a new business coming, so we're going to bring him back in to talk specifically about that business later. But we're ready for episode number 4 today, and we ventured outside of Dixon for this one. We went over to White Bluff, and we found a guy. Well, let's just go ahead and introduce him here. Trey Thomas. How you doing, Trey?
Hey, doing good, Justin. Glad to be here. Yeah, I'm very excited. I had the opportunity to buy Sweet Teas in December, and it's always been my happy place. It's where I went, where I just wanted to, feel good about things, and it's now wonderful that I can pass that on and share that with the community. I mean, my favorite part is just getting to meet people and getting to see how they respond and just to enjoy the product that we serve. I mean,
man, Sweet Teas is an amazing place, and I'm glad I finally got you in here to talk about it, because those of us that don't live in White Bluff, I think we've heard of it, but maybe don't know the details. And so I'm really excited to get you in here to go over kind of the evolution of the business, and then kind of into the specifics for anybody who may want to go out and get something to eat, to kind of give them, a chance to hear a little bit more about the specifics. But first, if you don't mind, let's start off by talking a little bit about yourself. And I know if you're like me, you're probably a little self-conscious, but just so people can get an idea of who you are, tell me a little bit about your background, sort of, where did you grow up? I know you didn't quite grow up right here. Tell me how you sort of got to Dixon County, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, sure thing. So I was born in Gainesville, Florida, and then I lived there most of my life. Then when I was about 18, 19, I decided to join the Air Force. So I've been around the world. I've been to about 20 countries, and got to see a lot of people and explore a lot of cultures. After my time there, though, I moved to Waverly, found a nice house out there, some little bit of land so I can relax, kind of what I wanted to do. But then, I met my wife, and I was like, okay, if she wants to move closer to her family in Bellevue, so I said, White Bluff. So we ended up settling down there, and it's been my home for the last 9 years, and I love it. In places like Sweet Teas, it's kind of like what did that. Now they didn't show up till later, but it's been an amazing journey so far. I'll say that. It's one of those things where I can go from place to place and just try to find my way to fit in and just get to enjoy the community around me.
So White Bluff, it's not a place that you grew up, but it's a place that you ended up.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like, from talking to you, we've met and we've talked a few times, but it seems to me like you really love White Bluff, and it's a special place, isn't it? It's a unique little town. Talk to me just a little bit about your love for White Bluff and how that's been a place that's kind of really grown on you.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the community and like the niches of it, our wonderful little parks, just how nice people are. I can walk into any small business around me and just feel right at home, and just you really get to meet all the employees, the owners, and and we all try to find ways to work together. Like the Buffalo, they came in and they sold coffee. Well, I sold coffee, but you know what? They want to get avocados, so they'll get their gelato from me and have that to their menu, and like that's the way we can support each other. Instead of having to worry about competition all the time. And White Bluff, I think we really try to be harmonious and like really work together, because at the end of the day, like this is our home, this is where we live at, and this is our community we got to take care of.
So I tell people all the time, we're sitting here in downtown Dixon right now, and downtown Dixon 20 years ago was nothing like it is today. Today, there are so many vibrant businesses up and down Main Street. It's really growing outside of Main Street too. It's really become a vibrant, community with a lot of small businesses that are owned by local people that are not part of chains. That are just just kind of organically have come about, and I really think that's awesome. We're starting to also kind of see that in White Bluff, and that's kind of what you're talking about here. Is we're starting to see. I had breakfast not too long ago at Salt and Pepper Grill. Sweet Teas is a great place to go. Like you mentioned, the Buffalo, and there are several others too. And if I've left anybody anybody out. It's not on purpose. I'm just kind of just running off the top of my head.
Fat Tiger Pig and Pub, awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really become a scene out there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that kind of went into your decision to become part of Sweet Teas. But let's kind of rewind a little bit. So you didn't start Sweet Teas. It was already an established business that you purchased recently.
Yes.
But for those who don't know, I know you're aware of the history of Sweet Teas. Could you give us a little bit of background on how it started and a little bit of the evolution until the point when you took over?
Yeah, of course. So in 2018 they opened up in Kingston Springs, and then they stayed there to about 2019, 2020, and then they moved to White Bluff. A lot of this really came up out of with the Chandlers. They went to Italy and they got to go enjoy the gelato, and they just really fell in love with it. And they've had they're big on ice cream here in the States. They just wanted to bring that back with them. So I mean, over the years and stuff, I've been a loyal customer there since like 2020. I'm on the Mug Club and all that, and just talk and shop with them all the time. And like I really just kind of fell in love with like how they do it and like the quality of the product they get. Like, I mean, all of our stuff flavor wise, it comes from Italy. It's got to make a stop here in the States first, but it comes there, and everything we make in the store. It's from scratch. I mean, there's stuff like the milk, cream, sugar, all that I'll buy here local, but it's just such a wonderful thing. And I try to do what I can to expand it now. I try to have more sugar-free options, be very clear on like, hey, these are all gluten-free, these don't have any dairy, because I don't want anybody to come to Sweet Teas and feel like there's nothing for them. I wanted people, it's a feeling for me. I want people to come in there and feel like they've had enough, or just whatever they needed to feel better for the day. That's what I strive for.
I've really enjoyed getting to talk to entrepreneurs and business people that come in here for this show.
Yeah.
And my next question is this: why become a business owner? It seems like a headache. It seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it sounds like this was a very unique place that you sort of had a relationship with and really enjoyed. And talk to me about your decision to actually buy the business and become a small business owner, because hey, look, it's not an easy job.
No.
Like Luke told me last week, you put all your heart and soul into it, and you hope it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And it's tough because sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't, but it becomes a bit of a roller coaster. What inspired you to buy the business?
Man, I'll say this, it happened extremely quick. The idea was that the Chandlers were going to pass it down to their daughter, and just either time or commitment wise, it ended up being not feasible. I mean, she has small children. I do too. I got a 6 and a 5-year-old. But for me, I'd already been spending so much time there. Like they did one time. They pulled up like how many people who bought the most that year, and it was happened to be me. And I was like, ooh man. But it's all right, because I'd go to the Mug, and you go to the Mug Club. It's a program where you get a large size of it. You pay the price of a regular, and then you get free toppings on there, so you can always do that, and then you get 10% off everything else you buy for the rest of the year. So it ends up being nice, and it's just something that kept me coming back. And it just but when they offered it to me, like I said, it was at the end of October, and December 1st I signed papers, so I didn't have much time to really think about it. But for me, it wasn't a hard decision either. It was something I would be very kind of upset, and I know a lot of people would be sad if Sweet Teas left White Bluff. Like, it really has become kind of that hidden gem that people are so glad that we have, and if it left, it would I just feel like it would be very tough for the community. For a while we were having businesses kind of come in and leave, and I want to stop that rotation of businesses and just go look, let's set up our town the way it needs to be. These are our places, and go from there.
So you really loved the place, and you sounds like you're their best customer.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe naturally they reached out to you to see if you wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of happened. So you've got this great small business that's already established. Did you come in and really make any changes to it, or did you kind of keep it the same, or talk to me a little bit about coming in and getting the keys, and what'd you do on day one?
Man, so day one was interesting. I mean, being a small business owner, you never know what's going to happen on a day. And like the first day, I had some fuses blow on the main gelato cooler. So So the one that like that's my bread and butter right there. And day one, I hit the button, it did not turn on. But but all it takes is hey, a little bit of ingenuity. Like I was in the Air Force, I worked on fighter jets, so like I can learn how to troubleshoot small electronics like that. So I got it up and running. It's good, and it's been real smooth. I mean, I've added like panini sandwiches, Belgian waffles. The Belgian waffles was something like I really wanted because it was a comfort food for me when I lived in Europe. So I lived in Germany for like 3 years. So I wanted to bring some of those aspects in. Now the quite hasn't taken off, but the sandwiches have though. So I got like ham and cheese, roast beef with au jus you can dip in, chicken bacon ranch, chicken pesto, grilled cheese. I mean, I really want to make it. There's a sign that's on the wall that says "Stay a while." And that just kept speaking to me. I'm like, I don't want people just to come in, grab their ice cream and scoot. I want to have them sit here, get to meet their neighbors, get to talk to people, and just have a full like experience at Sweet Teas. And that's just the vibe I've been trying to roll with it. And it has been a lot of work, and there's been times where I've had to work 20 days in a row, and open close, and that's just how it is. But to me, it's worth it because when people come in and they leave happy, or I get to see that look on their face when they try their new favorite flavor, like that's it. That's the part of the job that is the best, for me. The rest of it is, I've worked some food jobs when I was younger and stuff, and I get the operation side of it, but like just being able to craft and like get people to be creative and just help train people to be better and just improve all the time. Like that's the environment I try to have at Sweet Teas now. So it's they had that kind of set up before, but I really wanted to make it a point that's how I want things to run. It shouldn't feel like an overbearing presence when I walk in the door. I wanted to be like, hey, this person's here and they're going to help and support me, and we're all going to make this as a team one of the best places to go eat at.
So let's talk about what you guys actually have to that you serve. That people can come in and purchase. You guys got a lot of really, really good stuff. I'm gonna pretend like I've never been there for a second.
Yeah.
And when I see the logo, which is on your shirt right there, it would indicate to me that it's sort of like an ice cream shop type of place. And I think that's probably the vibe that most people have, which I know you guys do a little bit more than that. But let's go kind of through the menu. Start off telling me about this ice cream, or I guess it's actually gelato.
Gelato, yeah.
Tell me about that. What's the difference?
So, like, per like the recipe and the ingredients stuff, there's minor differences. Like, there's just a slight bit more sugar, but we use less milk and more heavy cream and skim milk to kind of balance that out. So, gelato is a much creamier, dense product, and a lot of that too comes from the churning process. So when we do gelato, it's churned at a slower rate, so you don't get as much air buildup. So you want about like gelato, if you go to ice cream, it's about 50% air, and then everything else you're going to get above that is going to be frozen dessert. So next time you go through the aisle at the ice cream section, have a look at what they're really serving, and just think of how much actual product you're actually consuming. It's when you come here, like you're getting something good. And I try to as I add more sugar-free options there. I wanted to make it so that people can come in and they can get whatever they need, do not feel guilty about what they get. Because I understand, I know there's a lot of people out there who just they feel they go into a restaurant and it's just nerve-ending to whether or not they can actually eat there, and that's just one thing I just want to completely bypass. But it's even with the sandwiches, I offer like a gluten-free bread. Like we make all of our gourmet soup, so I got all the recipes when I purchased it. Pretty much here's the key, and that was it. So definitely there were some things I didn't know I had, which was cool. And like now I'm in the middle of like brainstorming, okay, well, I got this flavor, what when am I going to put that out, how am I going to go about doing that? So every day is a new challenge, and it's fun. It keeps things fresh and alive for me. And and even like now, like going out to community, doing all my events, like we have like a food cart that we do, so I have 3 carts, and I have a tabletop one too. And I've set up at festivals. We're out at Fairview for their 3rd of July, White Bluff for their 4th of July. We did really well. In comparison to what I normally do at the store, kind of thing. But like that's just that if you go to the people, that's where that helps out so much. And I want to do more of that. We've done some weddings. I've gone to the Home Depot down in Bellevue and brought my stuff out there, and they got to enjoy. And people are so appreciative because like when they get it, like they just don't expect it. When you get ice cream, okay, I just ate ice cream, but like when you get gelato, it's just a mouthfeel and it really pops. And so then also like the quality of the Italian ingredients that they have standards built into it. Like there's like legal standards like that they must do when they process. And I'm very grateful for that, because I know what I'm getting, and I know every time I get it, it's going to be about the same. Here, you may have something one week and then it's gone the next. But this stuff's been around since like the 1908. So like, there's some trust in there that I can have, and I've had enough gelato in my day that I can kind of say, hey, this is it. But I've had some new flavors. I've done I have a cookie butter one, the Biscoff cookies. Yeah, so they make a cookie butter, and I'll blend that in with a gelato, and I'll put the cookies back into it. Oh, it is like, it's one of those borderline almost addictive flavors. Like it's that good. And like, and I try not and I tell people like it's almost too good, but it's such a wonderful taste. And I just, but that was my first one I wanted to do. So now I'm going to add other ones. My aunt passed away a few months ago, and she wanted me to make one for her, so I call it the extraterrestrial gelato. She was big into aliens and stuff like that, and but it's just a chocolate with peanut butter, marshmallow, and green M&Ms in there. It's like the little aliens, and it's just having fun with it, and people really like it. Or I'll do one I call the uncrusted. It's a peanut butter base, and then I'll put different jellies in there, so you get a peanut butter. It tastes like you're eating a peanut butter and jelly, and it's just. I like experiment with that, or taking multiple types of the same flavor and mixing them together. So you just, once you get it, you think, oh, I'm getting chocolate. Like you're getting different types of chocolate all at one time, and it just anything to heighten the experience. I mean, for me, that's what it's all about. It's already great. And there's a lot of stuff I don't have to change. There's things I always add to it. But when I bought it, it's kind of one of the things I promised. It's I'm going to take care of this the same way you guys did. I'm not going to cheap out and go do something just to save a buck. I'm going to keep it just the way it is. And adding stuff. And the sandwiches have been really helpful too. Just, you bring people in to have a sandwich and they're like, you know what, I'm going to grab a dessert too. And we're connected to Pappy's. Sometimes I get people that come in like, you're Pappy's? I'm like, no, but you can come here on the way back. Or hey, I'm looking for something to eat. You got anything? I'm like, yeah, I got something. I'll cook you up a sandwich. No problem. So it's nice to be ready for that. And this is my first year kind of running this business, and it's been just the kind of way I thought it would be. I mean, I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but it hasn't been overwhelming. It hasn't been anything I couldn't kind of handle. And I got a really good team of folks. I did for a while have a lot of the people from the old team, but a lot of them kind of aged out. Hey, I'm done with college now. I'm going to go do something different, or I'm going to go do an internship, doing a big kid job. I'm like, hey, go do what you got to do. This is my thing. I have a great team that supports me and helps me out. I take care of them, same thing, and I try to pay pretty decent. I start most people out at about 11, and then they get all the tips and stuff on top of that. So, for me, it's more of, as long as I'm providing the service and people are happy, the outcome's the outcome for me. I do this because it's what I want to do, and it's just my happy place. I spent so much time there before that, it's really grown into me at this point.
What this is a question I always like to ask, especially places where they have stuff to eat and drink. What is and I hate to put you on the spot, but I'll just go ahead and ask you, because usually the business owners kind of know what the best sellers are. Yeah. But that's kind of where I'm going with this one. What's the most sold flavor of gelato, and then maybe food items? What do you sell a lot of? What's kind of your staple or your signature? Yeah, I'll say this so I'll kind of break it down. So when we come from the sorbets and stuff, our blood orange is fantastic. I mean, you ever had one of those Flintstones push pops? Oh yeah, that's that hits the flavor right on the spot. And that amount of people come in from Mount Juliet, they'll get 3 quarts at a time.
Yeah, some people I'll be like, look, if you're getting that much, I can just sell you the whole pan too, and I'll do that. Let's see, with all the regular gelatos, I mean, things like cookies and cream, the sweet cream, they go pretty well. Salted caramel, lemon cookie, a lot of the peanut butter ones have been doing great lately. I've been trying a few different coconut flavors. Like we did like a pina colada a couple weeks ago, and that sold really well. And this is a cookie butter, like. I had 3 pans made and it was gone. I made it on Monday. It was gone by Thursday. There's just certain flavors that people see it, or like the Boston cream pie, like it goes. It's that delicious that like people see it and like I got to get it. So yeah, it's that, and that's also the sugar-free flavors. The new sugar-free strawberry is the first flavor I did with the new base we have. The previous ones used like a Splenda, and you can kind of get like that aftertaste. But this new one uses the stevia, and you don't get that. It just, if you get like that yogurty consistency, it's really nice and delightful, and that goes pretty fast. But listen, since I've been putting the flavors out there, more people are hey, let me at least try it. Like I've been wanting to watch my sugar. I'm like, well, just give it a try. If you don't like it, and I got the regular chocolate right here, or I got raspberry sorbet in the back. Like I got what you need. You just tell me how you want to get it. And then, like I said, for our drinks and stuff, like we have the Nespresso line and stuff. So, like our Cubans, like we're the only ones in town that do the Cubans, the affogatos. So me and the Buffalo, we both do affogatos, but we do them differently in different coffees, and you get different taste out of it and stuff. And those do okay. I'll say this: I'd like to sell more of them. They're very nice and very cafe style. Just sit and just have a little spoon and just enjoy it. Lattes go pretty well. I don't have like a fountain drink, but I have a drink machine, so I'll keep sodas, Gatorade, sparkling water in there. Just something to have available. I'll do like free cups of water, all that stuff. There are some things like with when the Chandlers owned it that I wanted to like get away from, because it sometimes may cause issues. I like to have a nice, smooth, simple transition for any interaction with people, and that's just a way to do it. Just like, hey, I got you. What do you need? You need a cup of water? Boom, here you go. On the house, on me, no problem. Some things too, like samples. Like I always give people good samples. Like I go and I try to find like the optimum bite. Like we have like an apple pie that we made, and so like there's little apple chunks. So I'm like, let me get that. Let me get some little graham cracker for the top. Check this out, because like I want people to really know, like, hey, you're gonna get. This is what you're getting the rest of the time. And it usually works out really well. And just seeing the look on their face, they just brighten up and they're like, whoa, this is good. And that's where I know kind of hit the spot, And then when I got sweet teas, it was gelato and cafe. I made it gelato and galore, because I wanted to be just, galore is a word for like, hey, feel like you've had enough. So it covers that feeling that I'm looking for, but also means like, I can have all sorts of stuff. And one thing I do want to do is, like, we had like the Cocos in the freezer, and you could take those and cook it up, easy meals. I would like to do my own version of that and just have some Italian stuff. That way I can kind of, because I've been to Italy a few times when I lived in Europe, and I've had the same kind of experience. And there's things that I want to bring into. I won't do like a pizza or nothing, but like a pasta dish, like an easy, like an Alfredo, or just regular marinara sauce or butter sauce. There's a few things that I want to do. I think it would be pretty well to either you want to sit down and have a nice hot meal. It's available probably from between like 4 and 7 probably. And then if you want to take something home, hey, you only got a few minutes to cook something in the microwave or heat it up. Like the soup, same thing. You get 10 minutes, thaw that soup out, heat it up, it's good to go. It's more me providing that variety. Then that's what I do. And I try to find a way to do that to where like I can do it, but not have too much of something where I'm wasting it. I don't like to waste things. If I get an opportunity to use it in something else, I will. If I need to, I got a little left over, let me go ahead and make a pop for someone, or do this. And it's all about just taking the little things that you have and making something new that people can appreciate. I don't just do things just because. There's usually, it's all crafted, it all works. And I try to, like when I made all the sandwiches, tried a lot of different breads, a lot of different meats and cheeses, and really kind of found what worked for me. And luckily, everywhere I go, I try to find good food, and if I can bring that experience back with me and make that so I can share that with other people, that to me, that means the world. Yeah.
So you've only been the owner of Sweet Teas for, I guess, a few months, not even a whole year.
Yeah, it'd be December.
You've already made some changes that
Yeah.
you've already kind of mentioned. As far as the evolution goes, do you have anything else planned as far as, taking it to another level? Do you have any big dreams? I mean,
I
you look
do.
around here at the DC TV studio, we got some things that we would eventually like to do here that we can't do right now.
Yeah.
But we hope in the future we can. Do you have any of those kind of things in the back of your mind?
I do. So before, like, they were working on maybe about getting selling it to like stores and having it to where you go to the store, ours would be there. I'm looking at that, but I'd also like to, sell to more restaurants, and I would like to do more events and spaces, just to be out there in the community more. But at the same time, is not everybody comes to White Bluff or sees us on. Even a lot of people pass by us all the time. So I just kind of want to make it to where, like, we're visible. I'd like to have a second store, probably in about 3 years if I'm doing well enough. That very well a possibility. I don't quite know where I would put it yet, but it just, it's definitely a very expandable business. I have a lot of ideas for it. It definitely can evolve in a lot of ways. I got to keep, always that basis the same, so I'll probably end up having to buy another gelato machine and blast freezer and really step it up. But it's nothing that we can't handle with the current setup we have, and that's the best part about it too. Now, if it gets bigger and bigger, then I might have to buy a separate location to make things at and have fun with it. But for right now, though, I'm happy where I'm at. I've accomplished a lot of things that they've done. I've done all the events they've kind of done. We won the best dessert for the Main Street Awards. That's something they've had done in the last 3 years, and for me, it's a tip of the hat. Going, okay, you're still doing it. You're still rocking it out, just like they were, and this is your baby now. You're doing it. It's not theirs, and I feel like it's now kind of mine. Slowly but surely, like, I gain that confidence, and then eventually it's just going to be just common. That's just how it is. Just one thing after another, and just day to day. But as I would like to see it evolve. There's plenty of ways. It'd be very easy for me to do that. I've already kind of mapped a lot of it out, so it would just be more of me hitting a button and going, okay, let's do this. Like, I got all the custom packaging I needed to put in stores. I got clients available that desperately want our product. It's just getting to that time and place where, like, is it the right time? And it will be. I'm patient, though, and that's my big thing. Is as much as I want to do a whole bunch of stuff, I also know, like, where my limits are and where I want to take things, because I have a lot of irons in the fire, and that. But at the same time, it's like it all will come together and just improve the whole community situation. I mean, I want White Bluff to be that foodie destination. I want people to come, hey, when we go to Nashville, hey, we're somewhere good to eat. Let's go to White Bluff. Like, it just pops up on the map out in the middle of nowhere, but, like, they're going to have something good. And I want people to come here during the day, and then while everyone's at work in White Bluff, and then, the nighttime, all the White Bluffians come back and they can enjoy. But there's something special about White Bluff, and I just want people to see it. Once they see it, they'll understand. But I think our food is definitely going to be what's going to be taking us up. Definitely.
So, appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
Full transparency, we actually do record this in advance, and then we always air it Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. So when people are watching this, it's about 9:30 on Saturday morning. And
yep.
Go ahead, if you don't mind, because it'd probably be a perfect day to have ice cream today.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell them the hours of the store, and just basically give your store a plug here for anybody who's probably thinking a lot about some gelato right now, and they want to come to the store today. Maybe give some hours and some basic information. Maybe even like how they would find you on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure thing. So we're in White Bluff, right on Highway 70. If you see the sign for Fat Pappy's, you'll see our ice cream cone on the deck. We're gonna be open 12 to 8 pretty much throughout the fall into the winter. I'm gonna try to stay open 7 days a week, probably until winter. Then I'll go down to 6, just for the balancing stuff out. If you want to find me, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, it's all Sweet Teas Gelato. Try to keep it simple, and we're slowly improving the TikTok and the Instagram stuff. But our Facebook is, I got that from them, so I really and now taking it and just having fun with it and reaching out to so many people and just getting to share everything that we do. I mean, it's nice. You get to get that validation from a community back. But I think that's, for Sweet Teas, I think that's pretty much a lot for us. Said, I'm always open to, like, for people, they come in, they got our flavor they want, and that's probably something I expect a lot of the viewers to be thinking about. It's like, oh man, what do I want to get when I go there? A lot of times I'll post the flavors on there. You can always call ahead. I'm more than happy to talk to people and just, help them find what they're looking for. And that's been the best part of being Sweet Tea.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming in today, taking the time to come and talk to me and explain to folks out there a little bit more about your business.
Yeah.
And hopefully, they will come out and try it if they haven't yet.
Yes.
I'm really hoping, that they'll give you a chance, because it really is a great business. And, if you live in Charlotte or Burns, like I live in Burns, folks that live in Dixon, hey, it's not that far away. You want to try something different? Go support our friends over in White Bluff and, give it a shot and support a small business owner, because, it's these businesses. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast is because I really feel strongly about small mom and pop shops like this, and how much they really mean to our community. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but my dad was actually owned several different restaurants throughout the course of my childhood. And so I think maybe that's kind of the underlying inspiration for this show, is because I watched my dad, do that for years. And these businesses, they mean a lot, and I think that they really are the backbone of the community in a lot of ways. And so appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
I will kind of throw this out there. I want you to come back.
Yes.
Pretty soon, because we are people who are kind of newer to the channel and the show may not realize this, but for years we've done an election podcast. We do it every cycle. If there's a contested election out there, we will try to bring in both of the candidates and that give people a chance to hear from them. And so folks may not know this yet, but I know this because I stay pretty in the know with politics. I've run for office myself. I know that you're going to run for mayor of White Bluff.
Yes.
And I want you to come back and talk to us a little bit more about that later. But I don't think it's ever too early to let people know about stuff like elections, and they're important. And so if you don't mind, I'd have you come back maybe in a few weeks and we can talk some politics next time.
No, I love that. That'd be awesome. And that's what I want. I want people to get to know their candidates, feel really educated on like who they're putting up front, because I've seen that, and you probably seen it too. You just get people going, well, who do I vote for? And they don't really know, but they just vote because someone asked them to. And, the same thing, like, my big thing is transparency, making sure people know. And like I said, a lot of things I've got to do for White Bluff is, like, get them to put all their meetings on YouTube. That way, at any point in time, all you got to do, go look, find the meeting you need. It's all right there. You need to know some information, you need to know some data, go get it. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't cost you no money. It's just a public thing. And I think we really need to reclaim how we feel about public things, because it's just, I think for me, like a lot of things, like, when you have same people for so long, things get stale, things kind of get unruly, or maybe don't make sense as much, and you may know why or may not know why it's happening that way, but I just feel the people deserve a lot. It's the same thing with like Miss Sweet Teas. I'm doing it because I feel like the community needs it, and I can feel like that I only can benefit and just improve and just make it something that people see value in. I mean, you really should. How often do you think that the taxes you pay, you get your money's worth? Sometimes you don't know where money's going. You don't, or maybe it's not being spent well. There's all things that I want to look at, and I want to make sure that we're doing the right things. I want to make sure that, like, when we do something, we explain ourselves. And we can talk about this in a couple of weeks and stuff, and I don't want to go too on about it, but I feel very strongly about that, and I want to help the people reclaim their ownership in their government.
Hey, You're preaching my language
Yeah.
now. Hey, you know how I feel about that kind of stuff. So no, I'm really looking forward to talking to you more about politics.
Yeah.
The future of White Bluff.
Yes.
It's been fun talking about small businesses today. But for folks watching, we've got that series coming along, and hopefully that'll help the voters make informed decisions. So
Yeah.
Trey Thomas, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
on the
Justin.
show today, brother. I appreciate it. We'll get you back in here in a few weeks. Thank you to everyone who's watching. We appreciate you guys supporting this show, and appreciate you tuning in every week. I think Zach Brooks from Zach's Music Shop, I've talked to him. So things change throughout the week, but right now I think that's going to be our next guest.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to try to keep going with these small businesses. If you know someone who owns a small business, or if you own a small business and you would like to be on the show, do not be afraid to reach out, send us a message. People ask me all the time, how do you pick, who's going to be on the show? And honestly, it's just whoever I run into. I happened to run into Trey last week, and so it's like, hey, you own a small business, you want to be on the show? And so that's literally how it goes. A couple weeks ago, I ran into Luke Frost at a Little League baseball game. Bentley was playing. My son Knox was playing, and I said, hey, you want me on the show? That's usually how it goes. In all honesty, that is how it goes. I don't sit around and find cherry pick anybody. If I run into you, I'll ask you to be on the show. So if you're out there and you're thinking, Justin, give me a call. Hey, send me your phone number and I'll give you a call. We'd love to have you on the show. Thanks for watching this Saturday and every Saturday. Hey, go get you some gelato at Sweet Teas today. Help the small businesses out, and we'll see you next week right here on